What's up everybody, we're back for more Malifaux lore, and this week we're going over Yan Lo of the Ten Thunders and Resurrectionists. So, massive spoilers incoming for Yan Lo and all of his stories, and you can find a list of those stories in the description below. While you're down there, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because this is YouTube and that's what you do. And with that, let's get into Yan Lo. Chiaki, Yan Lo's distant niece, welcomes him to this side of the breach, and tells him that she is glad he accepted the Oyabun's invitation. He asks her how she found him, and Chiaki explains that she had always heard the legend of her ancestor Yan Lo, who was cursed to walk the path between life and death. She explains that none of the stories told of how he came to be cursed, or how to lift the curse, and her curiosity drove her to seek him out. Yan Lo tells her that he has been searching for a way to lift his curse for so long that he no longer remembers what caused it. He then tells her that it's time for him to rest as his body fades. He finds himself in the realm between life and death, walking the paths, and notices that the paths are different on this side of the breach. He decides that he's going to try to use the paths to his advantage, turning his curse into a benefit. Chiaki helps guide a man named Van Stroker as he investigates a series of murders. Yan Lo, as well as the other Ten Thunders, encounter him at various times and help point him in the right direction. He eventually makes his way to the Library of All Things, where Misaki and the other Thunder's masters are waiting for him. She explains that this library contains all of the myths and legends of humanity, and that the stories contained in it influence and shape Malifaux society. The Thunders have planned to remove some of those stories and replace them with ones from the Three Kingdoms, in order to help them infiltrate Malifaux. Chiaki explains that he is the personification of Van Helsing and Sherlock Holmes, and that after he escaped the library, they had to find a way to get him to return to the library willingly. McCabe draws a knife and is about to stab the man, but Misaki stops him and tells him that these stories have earned their place, and returns 2 books back to the bookshelf. Misaki and Mei Fang meet and discuss an ongoing issue with the construction of a new rail line. Jacob Lynch enters, being escorted by several guards, and asks Misaki why he has been brought there. Misaki responds that they want some information, and Jacob asks what they would like to know from him. Yan Lo's voice comes from out of nowhere, and responds that they want nothing from him. The information they seek is from the creature within him. As Yan Lo appears, Jacob shrugs and explains that he doesn't know what they're talking about. Yan Lo demands that the creature speak with him, or else he will force it to, and Jacob's eyes roll back in his head and a voice comes from within him. Yan Lo identifies himself and tells the Hungering Darkness that the tyrants have returned, and the Hungering Darkness replies that he is lying, as the tyrants have been banished. Yan Lo tells him that he has seen it for himself, and that they will return and destroy the world, and the Hungering Darkness responds that he survived the ancient times by hiding from the tyrants, not fighting them. Yan Lo explains that he does not want the Hungering Darkness to fight, he wants it to tell him how to trap them. A member of the guild investigates the scene of a murder and finds that the victim is his cousin. He realizes that the murder is connected to a series of serial killings and begins an investigation that leads him to the Little Kingdom. There he bumps into a girl who tells him about the legend of Yan Lo and warns him not to continue his investigation. He is able to put the pieces together and figures out the location of the next murder, but his superiors do not believe him. He goes there himself and realizes too late that he was always intended as the next victim, and Yan Lo draws power from his death, as the man was one of his distant ancestors. After helping the rest of the Ten Thunders to prevent the Governor-General from ascending to tyranthood, Yan Lo returns to the Oyabun to collect his reward. Yan Lo had asked for any information the Oyabun had about his past, and he is told that long ago, Yan Lo had summoned a great Oni named Lingshutzi, who terrorized China until 7 sages came together to banish it. They then found Yan Lo and punished him by placing the curse on him. With this information, Yan Lo returns to the spirit world and decides to interrogate some of the lesser Oni he encounters. They tell a different story, explaining that Lingshutzi was never banished, but that he possessed the 7 sages, who later crossed the breach into Malifaux. Yan Lo sets out to find this Oni and get more information from it before destroying it. Nicodem seeks out Yan Lo in the Little Kingdom and asks him for information on a recent attack against his zombies by someone who he suspects is part of the Ten Thunders. He explains that if that's true, then he should rightfully seek revenge. Yan Lo agrees and asks him why he has come unarmed if that's his intent. Nicodem replies that if the attack was carried out by a lone faction, he simply needs their name so that he can go take his revenge, and his anger need not be against the entire organization. Yan Lo responds cryptically, and when he senses Nicodem's anger, he tells the man to leave this place, for he will find no answers. As he turns to walk away, Nicodem reaches out to stop him, but his hand passes through Yan Lo's body as he disappears. As the tension between Nicodem and Lady Justice increases, Yanlo sends Chiaki to give each of them clues to bring them closer to conflict. Once she's done, she returns to Yanlo and reports that everything went according to plan, and the two are destined to meet for their final battle. Yanlo approves and explains that one of them will not survive the battle, and the other will be severely weakened, but either way, they will become more powerful. Yanlo is wandering the spirit realm, and he sees his younger self arguing with another sage named Tiashin. Yanlo urges the man to reconsider, and reminds him that they all swore an oath to do no harm. The man responds that their people are being killed by the Mongols, and that they can save many lives by risking the lives of a few. Yanlo argues that they don't understand the Kimon, and that they cannot hope to tame them. Tiashin tells him that that's a risk he's willing to take, and orders him to fall in line, or else he'll be forced. Yanlo joins him, and they begin chanting, as his vision turns red, and he experiences great pain. Next, he sees a girl, with a mouth on the back of her head full of teeth. Suddenly, Chiaki wakes Yanlo, and offers him some tea. The man springs up and says that he thinks he just met Misaki's new pet, and that they are in danger. He rushes to the door, telling Chiaki to follow. When they make it to their destination, they find Tiashin, but much older and more demonic looking, with the bottom half of his body not fully formed and attached to an orb that is held in a small creature's hand. Yanlo notices the woman from his vision laying on the floor, writhing in pain. He tells his former colleague that the centuries have not been good to him, and the man replies that he would say the same, but Yanlo hasn't spent all that time living in literal hell. The old man asks what happened, and Tiashin replies that he has become what Yanlo made him. He is Wang Shen, because Yanlo pushed him through the gate to hell, and he thought he was lost until Ling Shutzi showed him his new power. Yanlo responds that he paid his own price, as the other mages cast him out of their order and cursed him. Amanjaku, the small creature, interrupts, and Wang Shen expresses his surprise that a runt like him was able to make it to the other side. Amanjaku responds that he had help, motioning to Asami, and says that he needs Wang Shen to help bring Ling Shutzi into this world as well. Wang Shen says he will not consort with mortals, and he opens up a green portal, and a sick-looking ooze begins pouring through, followed by several Akaname. As Yanlo and Chiaki prepare to defend themselves, Asami struggles to come to her senses, and Wang Shen and Amanjaku disappear. Asami summons the Ohagoro Batari, and it attacks the Akaname, while Yanlo and Chiaki fight off the puddle of ooze. When the coast is clear, Asami closes the portal, and says goodbye to her creature as it disappears. The girl is surprised to see that Yanlo is real, having always assumed that he was just a myth. Yanlo asks her if Misaki knows about her connection with Amanjaku, and she explains that Misaki only knows of her powers. Chiaki exclaims that she has betrayed the Oyabun, but Yanlo shrugs it off and tells her that he is impressed with her abilities. Asami asks what he wants from her, and Yanlo explains that he does not regret what he did to Tiashin, since if he hadn't stopped him from opening the portal, all of humanity may have shared his fate, but that now it falls to the two of them to stop him. Chiaki says they should leave the girl, as she can't even control the Oni anyway, so Asami summons a blue monkey and tells it to dance. Chiaki says that that's just a parlor trick, so Asami orders it to kill her, and it charges the woman with its blades out, only stopping at the last second as Asami gives the order. She then tells the creature to disappear, and Yanlo asks her where she thinks Amanjaku is headed. Asami says that she can't sense him anymore, but that he needs to go to a place with more magical energy in order to summon Ling Shutzi. Yanlo and Chiaki look concerned, as they understand where they need to go, and the old mage slams his staff down on the ground and they disappear. They find themselves in the bayou, with a large structure in the distance, and Asami asks what this place is. Chiaki tells her that it's Kythera, the remains of a long-forgotten age, and Yanlo tells them that they need to hurry. They make their way to one of the structures, and climb up the tower until they reach the top. There they find Amanjaku in a trance, holding a small orb, and Wang Shen, who is now fully formed. He tells them that Ling Shutzi will be here soon, and summons an army of Kimon, who advance towards the group. Yanlo raises some skeletons, and they fight off the Kimon, and Asami joins the battle, using the lashing tendrils of her hair to attack the creatures. Yanlo and Chiaki fight their way towards Wang Shen, losing the skeletons in the process, and he attacks them with his sword. He manages to knock them both away, injuring Yanlo, and then approaches him and raises his sword to finish him off. He tells the man that he has been waiting a long time for this, and swings his blade, but it is caught at the last second. Yanlo looks up to find that Jorogumo has parried the blow, and it engages Wang Shen as Yanlo makes his escape. He takes the opportunity to shoot magic at the stone Amanjaku is holding, and it shatters, throwing the creature off the edge. Wang Shen screams as he and the Kimon disappear. The group head down to the bayou and find Amanjaku, who begs for his life. Yanlo says that he must die, and as he approaches to finish him off, the creature's body starts to convulse, and a voice comes out of him. It tells Yanlo that he has changed nothing, and that he should tell his people that he is on his way. Amanjaku settles down, and Asami says that they cannot kill the creature, since he might be their only connection to Lingshutsi, and they might need him to protect Malifaux. Yanlo says that he isn't worried about Malifaux, as the voice said to warn his people, which means it's coming to Earth. Chiaki says that she will speak to the Oyabun and begin reaching out to their contacts in the Three Kingdoms. When the Burning Man arrived, it made the path so bright that Yanlo was blinded. He was infused with energy, and as that energy dissipated, he found that the paths were much more difficult to travel, as the Burning Man had created great wounds that blocked his path. Yanlo was able to focus his energy to heal these paths, but it distracted him from the problem at hand, as Lingshutsi prepares himself to move on Malifaux and Earth. Yanlo hopes that Asami and Chiaki will be able to do what needs to be done, but they both have much to learn. So that's everything for Yanlo. As with a lot of the masters that weren't in first edition, he doesn't have a ton of lore, but I'm really excited to see where they're going with him. I hope he ties into some of the upcoming stuff for the other side, since they're going to have a Kimon and Three Kingdoms faction in that game. This is also the first episode that covered any content from Malifaux Burns, and with that said, I have a question. Drop a comment below and let me know how you'd like to see me cover the content from Malifaux Burns, especially as it relates to masters who I've already done videos on. I'm considering either doing one video on the whole book, or eventually going back and republishing the videos on the masters I covered already who appear in that story. Or maybe I'll just finish out the rest of the masters and then decide at the end. I'm not sure yet, but tell me what you think. And while you're at it, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And thanks for watching.